I forced myself, literally forced myself to eat. Moments before I put this video on, I was like, oh my God, I don't even want to go on the video because I'm absolutely stuffed. We had dinner tonight and I hadn't eaten all day because I've been so busy. And I ate a lot in one sitting, but it may have not been really a lot compared to my binge eating days. But now, because I'm so in tune with my body, I did feel like I had enough after my main meal. But then, because I made dolce leche from a condensed milk and I put it in a pressure cooker and it came out caramel, I really fancied dessert afterwards. If you don't know what dolce leche is, it is like this Italian caramel. It is so divine. So I said to everyone, we're gonna have dessert. You know, usually I'm like, if I'm full, I don't offer dessert, but because I wanted to have this dolce leche that I just made, I forced myself, literally forced myself to eat this yogurt and dolce leche. And literally after I finished it, it topped me up. I was like, oh my God, I really can't move. I was absolutely, like drunk full. I was so full, and my body, like my belly, it didn't just stick out my belly. My belly has come up. I don't know if you see, like here, that's how full I am. It's like come up here, and I'm barely breathing because I ate so much. And then it made me think, oh my God, this is what people who struggle with eating just do not comprehend. And the reason why I know they don't understand this is because I suffered from back-to-back addictions with unhealthy eating at the same time, yo-yo dieting and back-to-back diets. And I couldn't understand how thin people ate. I couldn't understand like how they ate moderately, because in my mind I'd already made an assumption about how thin people ate. And because I wanted to be thin, I made an assumption that thin people only ate what they needed. And there's a lot of coaches out there, there's a lot of therapists out there, there's a lot of nutritionists out there that actually say that, stop when you're no longer hungry. And that is one of the keys of having a healthy relationship to food. And I'm not dissing them, I'm just sharing with you one of the things that really screws our minds up, especially if we literally take everyone's point of view, even health advisors, the things that they share, literally. But that was one of the things that screwed me up for such a long time, because I thought I had to stop when I'm no longer hungry. And the reason why I suffered from eating disorders and weight problems is because I couldn't stop when I was no longer hungry. But the thing is that I noticed in today's example is I actually ate even more than I should have. I was no longer hungry after dinner, and I forced myself to eat dessert, which is what most people with unhealthy relationship with food, this is one of the things they do, isn't it? They force themselves to eat beyond hunger. And most advisors in that industry would say you need to start learning how to stop when you're no longer hungry, which I agree with, because when you do that, you're not going to feel like me, like absolutely popping and feel like I'm going to burst. I feel really, and it's going to be like this for a few hours. And that's where mindful eating comes in, right? One thing that came to mind to me is that even though I ate until I was popping, even though I consciously knew that I was forcing myself to eat beyond, sorry, I'm burping. Sorry, I just realised I like burping on live. Sorry about that. Yeah, so anyway, even though I consciously knew that I should have stopped, sorry, I'm just like, got food in my mouth, and I should have not had dessert, I still ate it. Why I'm sharing this with you is because, like I said, this is the thing that I got wrong when I was trying to make peace with food and my weight and trying to eat like a normal person, whatever that is. You know, I'll talk about that in another subject, but I was trying to eat so that I wouldn't struggle with my weight anymore, so that I wouldn't have this like mind acrobats when it came to what to eat. You know, I would try to put all these rules that I've heard from one health therapist to another, to a dietitian, to my doctors or whoever, or coach or book, whatever. But the one thing that I didn't do was to live the life that I wanted. And what I mean is by this is that today, yes, I overate. And yes, I forced myself to eat until I was really uncomfortable. And do you know what happened? Nothing. I had no thoughts about my overeating apart from, oh my goodness me, like I am feeling so stuffed. And I even said to my husband, I was like, I don't want to eat ever again. Like, just like a jokingly around, don't mention food ever again, because I just felt so sick after eating that. But the thing is, I noticed is that I didn't think it was bad. I didn't feel guilty, and I didn't think of what to do afterwards. I just accepted that I ate a lot, and that's it. End of story. Because I am not following anyone's food advice. I'm not following any health advice. I'm not following anyone else's advice. I'm just living the life that I want. It may feel easier said than done if you're struggling with food or your weight, but that is why the deep cognitive healing helps, because it kind of like cleans the slate so that you can start having that space between you and your actions. Well, for years when I struggled with food and my weight, is that as soon as I ate so much, the first thing that comes to my mind is I've got to try and find a way to burn that off. So that means I'm not going to eat anything for the rest of the night. I would think about maybe eating healthily tomorrow. I would plan something, whether it's to go out exercising. I would try and find ways to burn the food straight away. And what happens when we start doing that, when we do actions like that, is that we're getting obsessed over food again. We're getting obsessed. We're not allowing the freedom to actually enjoy and experience what it feels like to consciously be in control, because compensating for something that you've done just tells your brain that you weren't in control. But not even thinking about it afterwards, like I did, like accepting that I did that, gives me the power, like the upper hand with my body, my subconscious mind, because there is no feeling, no emotion about it. There's nothing for my subconscious mind to fight against me, because the reason why we have so many struggles is because our subconscious mind is always trying to balance things out. So if we're consciously compensating, what we don't really say out loud is that we feel bad about it, we feel guilty about it. We might actually already know, I feel really bad, I feel fat, I feel fat, I can't believe I did that, I'm a fat pig, It's the kind of clear signs that We have not taken the stance of controlling our actions. We have not stepped into our own power over our bodies, because power over our bodies doesn't mean that we follow strict rules that everyone else have written out for us or told us. Being in power of our bodies and our life is taking responsibility and just living whatever life it is. It's almost like, that compensatory actions after doing something like overeating is really a disguise. We don't see it. We just think, I'm fixing it afterwards. But if there is no problem, there is no fixing. And if there's no fixing, then the mind is not stuck in this loop of feeling bad. Because every single thought creates an emotion, and then creates an action, and then that creates our reality. So when you see that overeating is not the problem, it's actually our thinking about the overeating is the problem, then that's when the moment that we can start taking charge of our life, and we find things a lot easier, because it's not just taking charge. We don't see what goes on underneath. Every single thing that we do, there's always a subconscious reaction to it. Like, I need to compensate for overeating. That means overeating is a bad thing. That means feeling guilty. That means because I feel guilty, I shouldn't have done it. That means I'm a bad person. I'm a bad girl. I've got no control. That means let's not eat tomorrow. Can you see where that goes, that road goes? But then when we decide, I accept I overate, and then you just move on, that's where the story ends. It's all about the little things. It's about showing our subconscious mind that we are in charge, that we're directing them. And when it's had an example that you've taken in charge, that you know what you're doing, then it gets easier and easier to change anything else in your life. But if everything that we do is doubt, a mistake, but it's not even a mistake, because like mistakes are never a mistake if the thoughts behind the mistakes are different. There's a mistake like, oh my God, I overate, staying with the topic, I'm so bad, I need to compensate. Or like tonight, oh my God, I made a mistake, I overate, that's it, I'm just going to chill out, I'm not going to move for whatever. But there's no feeling bad, feeling guilty or anything, because diets, following food rules, even the ones that we think are good for us, at the end of the day, it's not really about the mistake or the food that we eat. Not even like eating the junk food, and not even overeating is the problem. It really all comes down to our thoughts.